to Mission Serenity and the Recovery Road Leadership Training Program. It's good to have you back again. Hopefully you're really getting inspired now. Look, a lot of the tips in the book are pretty much self-explanatory. So, you know, we're going to skip over some of these and get to the core issues of recovery. And at this episode, we're going to talk about accountability and sponsorship because they're vital components of recovery. Aren't they, guys?
Yeah, very important to help you get through.
Yeah, so to put accountability and sponsorship in a context most of us can understand, an accountability partner is like a team member on the sporting team, and the sponsor is like the coach. So an accountability partner is on the journey with you, that's started out with you, and the sponsor is somebody who's already done the recovery program and is now in a better position to mentor you through your own recovery journey.
The accountability partner just supports you and listens.
Yeah, and also checks up on you.
Yeah.
So what are some of the other things that accountability partnerships involve? What do we need to discuss here, guys?
That you really do need one to go through from about step 4 onwards. They're very helpful to keep you going and encourage you, and it's just nice to have an accountability partner to just keep you going for that, you know,
for the
to
week,
help
throughout the week till the next.
When you stumble, or when you're feeling down, or you're tempted, or whatever, when you're really trying to overcome things, it's good to be able to ring them up and say, hey.
Yeah, or go out for a cuppa or something and just, you know.
Yeah,
support.
and in accountability partnership, if somebody doesn't turn up at a meeting and you're their accountability partner, you'd consider calling them and making sure they're okay.
Yeah, and I think it's also a biblical model, you know, which is important. Jesus said, go together.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah,
Because 2 can achieve what 3 single people can do, you know?
yeah,
So, and it's a mutual benefit thing as well,
yeah,
you know, because if one's sharing with the other and the other guy goes, yeah, that's helping me too because I was feeling the same way.
Yeah, but then it helps the person not get discouraged, the first person, by
That's right.
saying, oh, I feel the same way. It's like, oh, do you? Well, that's good. I'm not so bad after all.
Yeah, it can be that support.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's really what it is.
Now, quite often if let's say somebody's been sick and they miss 3 or 4 recovery sessions, quite often they'll start to think to themselves, you know, these guys will be way ahead of me now, I've fallen behind.
It doesn't work that way. They can come anytime. People can come and
that's why
join in anytime.
That's why the
Or they can come
accountability
back.
is important to keep connecting with each other through the week.
Yep,
And
yep,
because if you don't keep connected with your partner, it doesn't work. You've got accountability. It's so important to connect throughout the week after the program's finished. You go home and do your own, do your thing. And sometimes, you can, you need that. You need that support through the week. And not let it go to a point where you haven't heard or seen them for a while.
And sometimes you mightn't see them because something's happened to them and you really need to check on them and go, hey, I want to come and see you, is it okay?
yeah.
And
Now-
they might go, oh, I don't know, and you go, come on, we've got to be in this together,
Yeah.
you know?
Now, what if your accountability partner says to you, what do you think? We're able to give them a thought if we're invited, aren't we?
Yeah, and I would go back to the 12 steps. Have you gone, are you in denial?
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
And try to work through the 12 steps to get them to go, where are you at?
What part have you missed?
Yeah, why did, you know? Because if you miss a few, you go, hang on, you can catch up easy. It's just, it's just a thing that's happening.
Yeah. Now, Maretta, some people, because you're attending the meetings sort of once a week, some people may not have had time to complete that step. And they may have glossed over it, or maybe they need more time. Accountability partners are pretty good, aren't they, for working through that process with them and maybe working with them afterwards to keep them on track?
Yeah, I mean, for me, with my accountability partners, when things aren't going well, I call up and, that's somebody that's my partner and just share, hey, I'm not having a good week. And, we go through it. It's at the beginning of the recovery, you're more calling them and that. But after a while, once you're in recovery, you're full on into recovery. You tend to be, you know, connected a lot. But
Yeah.
if
And-
I don't know if I've answered that.
No, you have.
question.
And at the end of the day, it might be difficult for us to complete each and every step. Does that mean we can't go the next step?
No. We just keep doing, we can keep doing the program. Yeah.
Yeah, so if we go away for 3 or 4 weeks, if we've gone away for holidays, for
Yeah.
example, and we come back, can we come back into our recovery group?
Of course
Sure.
you can.
Okay, so it doesn't really matter, does it?
No.
And the thing is, when the season restarts, then you can keep going. It's like somebody may come along halfway through the season and have never been to a recovery meeting before. They can slot right in.
Yeah, wherever we've
It's just
left off.
revolving, it just
Yeah.
revolves.
Yeah. So accountability is a vital component. How do we form our accountability partnerships in the groups?
We ask someone to be our accountability partner.
And we would normally work out if someone was on the same wavelength as us.
In the same group of the same gender,
Yeah.
and we ask if they are willing to be. But sometimes they may say no, and don't take that to heart because they may have too many responsibilities with other accountability partners. So you
Great.
must never feel bad about if someone says no to you.
Yeah. Now we've got to, and once again, a lot of people have come to recovery feeling great pain from rejection. And it's really important that if you ask somebody to be your accountability partner, don't feel any pain of rejection, because it's important that they know their own limits, and we all set boundaries, and it's important that we maintain those boundaries. And too many people as our accountability partners can be counterproductive even to our own recovery.
Yeah.
And we need to support each other. So you shouldn't have more than 2 or 3 really accountability partnerships on the go at any one time.
I think it's good to ask someone, I'm considering asking you to be my accountability partner. Do you want to have a think about it
Yeah, pray about it.
and pray about it, and I'll pray about it, and then we'll talk next week and see if we can, you know, because that way it softens,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, because sometimes people might say no, and then later they might go, oh man, I should have thought about that. Maybe it'd be good for both of us,
Yeah.
you know. So it's best not to say straight away, but give it a week or 2 to think about it and pray about it.
Yeah. Now, could I have an accountability partner who is a woman?
No.
Not in the group. I
Right.
mean,
Not in.
Not in.
technically, your wife is an accountability partner of sorts,
Yeah.
and you know, because we share a lot of intimate things with our spouses,
Yeah.
and in a way, they are an accountability partner, but not per se as the group
Within recovery.
within recovery.
Because gender specificity is vitally important, isn't it?
That's right, and that confidentiality between you and your accountability partner. is
And
important
also there
too.
may be things that your partner, or in that case, a partner doesn't know about you.
That's
that
right.
you-
Yeah. Now that leads us to another point. It's vitally important in your recovery program in your small group that we don't have people from the same family in the same group, isn't it?
No, yeah, that's
You
You know,
don't
so-
want brothers or fathers.
Sisters,
Siblings.
Yeah.
siblings,
Yeah.
relatives,
Parents,
aunt, aunt, niece.
Because the whole purpose of that is you want to be able to share without feeling like it's going to get back to people in the family who haven't yet dealt with it. So the steps are a very intimate journey into your past
Yep.
and hopefully taking you into your future, and you don't want anything to hold you back from that.
No.
So if a couple of brothers came along, we would actually consider setting up another group or feeding one into each group as we go along. So accountability,
Sponsorship.
that's pretty much accountability. Now sponsorship. We talked about the sponsor having already pretty
Done
much
their
gone
pro-
through recovery. They've done their 12 steps, and they're on, it doesn't mean they've finished recovering, does it?
No.
Because we never finish
But
recovery.
it's someone who's been through the complete 12 steps.
Yeah, so they know what's coming and they know what to look for. Now, a good sponsor is actually someone who takes on more of a mentoring role, a spiritual mentor, a recovery mentor. What are some of the skills that a good mentor, a good sponsor, will bring into a relationship like that? I mean, obviously, experience is one.
I think a good sponsor is a good anticipator of what's going to happen with that person.
Yep.
And they need to let them support them in lots of ways, particularly let them know that, you know, they have a capacity to grow and a capacity to overcome with the Spirit, you know, and that if you stumble, it's one of the things that's going to happen. And don't knock yourself up too much about it.
Yeah.
You know, support them through that and tell them, for instance, they might say, that's happened to me in my recovery.
Yeah.
It's also the ability to open up with possible suggestions of ideas or solutions that the other person may have never thought of
That's
or
right.
not be thinking about, but not telling them, but suggesting other avenues, and then that other person can select.
Or posing a question that has them find the answer for themselves. You know,
Self-exploration.
yeah, a good mentor and a good sponsor will often ask questions to get you to think through and come up with
Lateral
your
thinking.
lateral thinking, and then you get to feel good about you know that you found the solution.
Yeah.
And I like Kim's suggestion that we take them back through the 12 steps. What parts have you missed? That's really important. And once again, don't beat yourself up if you have missed something. Some of the tasks are just too big to deal with in 1 week. That's okay. Especially you might be making amends to people, for example. We're
One
making
step
amends.
at a time.
Yeah, one step at a time, and making amends to somebody who may not be available to speak to. And you'll be taking a moral inventory, for example, and that can take a lot of time and requires a lot of prayerful thought. So all that's important, but sponsorship is vitally important, but you've got to start with accountability. Accountability partners first. Hold each other accountable, do it with love, do it with prayer, and grow in recovery. We're up to resources and preparation.
Don't really need to do all that, though.
No, that's pretty much covered in the book. A venue for the Holy Spirit. Now that's important. Once again, we've got to reiterate, none of the people in your group need to be counsellors or psychologists. It's nice to have a relationship with somebody who may be a counsellor or psychologist in your community that is au fait with your program, that you may be able to refer some people to who are in need of extra special support. So we often encourage Recovery Road groups to
Have a local counsellor who's
They can go
willing,
to.
or that you can refer people to.
but remember that
suggest.
other than accountability and sponsorship, we're not here to fix one another. The Holy Spirit does that job. And boy, does he do an awesome job. He does an amazing job. So creating a venue for the Holy Spirit, the best way to see the role of recovery is to see yourself as creating an environment for the Holy Spirit to do his work. All glory should be directed straight to heaven. You know, the minute we start wandering around, prancing around, thinking, oh man, we've healed all these people, we're setting ourselves up for a big fall, because it's not about us, is it?
No.
And all the power to recover comes from our higher power, and all glory should go back to the higher power, you know? So all should be directed straight back to heaven from whence it came, for kingdom outcomes. By opening and closing in prayer, and by continuing to call on the Holy Spirit during the meetings, you will be successful. There's no doubt about that. Your venue choice should be set up around the following guidelines. Privacy is important. So the groups should be able to share without other groups being able to hear or passers by. So make sure that you've got a nice, quiet, safe environment. Chairs in a circle, that's pretty important, isn't it?
Yeah.
We normally have a box of tissues on a small table or even on the floor in the middle of our circle. And circles are great because it's more intimate and we feel closer and we're able to see each other. And once again, we reiterate that when we're sharing in that circle, we always close our sharing with "thank you for letting me share." And all the other members in the group encourage the person who just shared by saying,
Thank you for
Thank you
sharing.
for sharing.
"Thank you for
Yes.
sharing." Once again, we're here to uplift one another. Comfort of the room temperature should be good. If it's too hot and people are wandering off to sleep, not good. If it's too cold and people are shivering, they lose their concentration. And it's really important that we create an environment that's really, really comfortable for them. Catering, we talk about your venue should have some light catering. Really
Hot
important.
drinks or cold drinks.
Yeah,
Just a snack.
you don't have to go overboard. There are some groups that they have a barbecue ministry, don't they?
Yes.
Some of the really big groups, they have a sausage sizzle or
Soup
something.
and buns.
Soup and buns.
It's your choice.
That's your choice. But if you can't do that because you're only a small group, you know, just some homemade
Cuppers.
biscuits, a bit of fruit, and a cuppa or a cold drink. The main thing is that it's, you know,
There's a social time.
yeah, like in the Book of Acts, you know, the Holy Spirit really works well around a table where people are eating and drinking and sharing together. Okay, well, you know, we're getting there. So we're pretty much through this chapter. We're going to come back to you when we next meet and talk about the power of testimony and how to write a good testimony, which is in the book as well. So until then, we want to thank you for being with us, and we trust you're enjoying this with us as well, because we're enjoying presenting it to you. And we'll be back for the next episode of Recovery Road soon. Thanks for watching.